Well, it feels so good to get back in the saddle. It's been such a long winter. I think everybody's just tapped out from winter. Back home on Devil's Lake, we had ice on the lake, early May. And so finally we just loaded up the boat. We're heading south, and specifically we're heading to that Glacial Lakes region of eastern South Dakota. If you were to look at a map of South Dakota, from basically Aberdeen all the way down to Watertown, there's just a huge swath in eastern South Dakota where there's so many lakes. There's some big lakes. You got Walleye Lake, Bitter Lake. Bitter Lake in particular is biggest, inland natural lake in South Dakota. Then you've got all these small lakes, but there's just so many fishing opportunities. And here's what's really cool about all these different lakes this time of the year is not only do you have multi-species where you've got smallmouth, you've got panfish, you've got the ice fishing opportunities for the jumbo perch, obviously, and then lots of walleyes in this country, but you have different size lakes, and you have lakes from north to south where these lakes thaw out at different times of the year, so the spawn will occur, will be really staggered. We're gonna head down to Webster. We're gonna meet up with Marcus Quam, and I think we're gonna be fishing Bitter Lake, which is a bigger lake, which, is gonna be a step behind it, so hopefully we can find some of these fish that are, just before the spawn, but looking forward to this. Lots of lakes, lots of walleyes, just a lot of opportunity in this part of the world.
So here in the Webster area, we're lucky. We have, I couldn't even tell you exactly how many different lakes we have, but within 30 to 50 miles, I can be on a bunch of different lakes. And a lot of springs, I can go and I can start down south. Those lakes will open up first, and then you can kind of just follow the ice or follow the spawn depending on how it's fishing that time of year. And you can kind of keep jumping and following those fish just depending on the weather condition and the ice off. We have lakes that range anywhere from 1,000 acres to lakes that are all the way up to about 30,000 acres. So if you have a small boat or a big boat, we have everything here that will let you get away from the wind or let you break down a body of water quicker or easier. Plenty of spots to get away from everybody else and just enjoy it all on your own.
There we go. Oh, look at there, look at there.
Nice walleye.
That's a nice walleye. Oh, wow. Whoa. Whoa. Beautiful. Hey, wow.
Nice job.
Oh. Boy, that is a beautiful walleye. They are chunky down in this country, aren't they? Come here. Oh. Oh, look at there. Caught him kind of funny. I was trying to pin it to the bottom and caught him in the bottom of the jaw. There, whoa. Wow. That is a walleye. Don't you love when they just get that big hump on the back? That is a gorgeous fish. Get this fish in the water right away. That is just gorgeous. So when you look at these glacial lakes here in eastern South Dakota, if you love to cast, if you love to pitch, if you love to stand up and fish, I tell you what, this place is just paradise. You can just go along these shorelines where the wind's blowing in and just cast and cast and cast. And these lakes, some of these lakes have extremely high population densities of walleyes. I mean, you can just wear yourself out catching fish. And this is the time of year to do it. These water temps first warm up, especially when these fish start to come out of the spawn, that water temperature starts to creep up into the high 50s, low 60s. These fish are eating, and so you can just go along these shorelines, and just fish where the wind's blowing in and just cover a lot of water and find these fish. And so it's something that anybody can do. You don't have to have a lot of electronics necessarily. You don't have to have a very big boat. Just keep the boat in, say, anywhere from 8 to 7, 6 feet of water and cast in, because a lot of these fish are gonna be less than 8 feet of water. That's the thing that you can anticipate when you come down this area, is that you're gonna find a lot of fish shallow.
There's one.
Got him?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I got it anchored here.
Perfect.
All right. I'll get reeled up here and help you out.
That feels pretty good.
All right. Like a good fish, Marcus. Oh yeah,
Oh,
nice,
yeah.
nice, really nice walleye. Oh,
Oh.
come here, come here, come here. There we go. Oh, hey, that's a great fish.
Nice.
Wow.
Thanks for the net there.
That is a dandy.
If I can get my hand around her.
Oh wow, look at that fish. Just swallowed that
It's actually
impulse.
It's actually just kind of free floating in there right now. There we go.
All right, wow, that's a great fish. That's a healthy fish.
There's nothing better than getting out first time of the year.
Oh, yes, we've
Seeing
been waiting for this, huh?
Yeah, it was a long winter.
It has been. What a great way to end it.
All right.
All right.
I'm gonna get her back. and
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do it a few more times, huh?
Wow.
Beautiful fish. There's several different spots I kind of typically look for. One would be where the water is going to warm up fastest. Sometimes that'd be like a mud bay or a transition from mud to gravel, kind of wherever the water is going to warm up fast. A lot of times it's on the north end of the lakes. And the other spot would be kind of gravelly, rubbly, old shoreline, or stuff where you're going to find fish spawning.
Here's a fish.
Nice job. Man, that was really close to the boat.
That one was almost all the way back.
There you go.
Nice. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
And that's just, I guess, what you call classic spring fish. You know, the season doesn't close down here in South Dakota, here where we're at. And so you see, you know, a lot of people are out here getting their fix, but it's early in the year. These fish are just starting to spawn out, but it's just rock, hard bottom, current, or windswept locations where there's a hard bottom, shallow water. But yeah, wow, just a gorgeous fish. All right. Gotta love that. And this is some of the first nice weather we've had, isn't it? I mean, it's been a long winter.
I think it's been since October, so what are we going, like 7-8 months now, it feels like?
Yeah, we've been waiting a long time to do this. It's early May, and normally what we're doing, you'd probably be doing in early April or in March, you know. It's just everything is so far behind this year.
So a lot of times our lakes up here, these fish will stay shallow, I mean, sometimes through June, maybe even to July, just depending on how the weed's set up and what kind of bait they're eating and the bug hatches. But I mean, if a guy enjoys casting, you can cast for, I would say, at least half the year in this area.
There's a good one. That's a good fish there, Marcus.
Didn't even get a cast back in there.
Yeah, that's a nice fish. Look at it stretching, 6-pound mono, just stretching it. Oh, come on. Oh, don't you love that? Big head shakes. Yeah, this is a good fish. Oh yeah, nice fish. She wants to go out to that deeper water so bad. Here she comes, here she comes. Oh yeah, nice walleye, Marcus. Wow.
Nice job.
Wow. I knew when I crossed that fish's eyes there was something there. Oh, look at there, and that plastic popped out of her. You netted her right in the nick of time. Look at that. Look at that. They got those big teeth. Like, oh my goodness. Look at that. Wow. Wow. That is a gorgeous fish. That's a big old fish. Wow.
Wow. That fish has definitely got some good shoulders on her, huh?
Oh wow, you just couldn't build a better proportion walleye than that right there. Wow. Oh. All right, we'll get her in the water. That is a beauty. Oh yeah, there she goes. Oh, wow. Here, I'll show you what we're doing here. I mean, this is just spring walleye fishing 101. You look at how many fish soft plastics catch this time of year. This is one of my favorite setups here. So I've got 6-pound high-vis strand just so I can watch the line. And I've got a Northland Slurp jig, which I just love these for soft plastics. Got a long shank barb on it. That's just an impulse paddle tail. And I can't tell you how many walleyes I've caught on this basic setup. I mean, I've caught so many fish on this. Confidence bait right here, but just a great way to catch fish. And we got the boat, you know, we're set up in about 7-8 feet of water, and we're just casting. There's just some current coming through here behind us, just dragging it right through that current. You look at the Dakotas, you know, we always joke that we don't put the wind on the brochures. You know, these lakes can get windswept, and that wind can change direction. It can change velocities from day to day. You know, and a lot of times we're fishing the wind. If there is no wind, you fish yesterday's wind. But sometimes that wind can almost blow too hard, in the sense that if you start seeing water temperatures drop, if you start to see that water really get churned up where these fish can't see anymore, sometimes you might, you know, try to find a more protected area or get in a bay that's windswept versus being out on the main lake. But this time of year, you know, you'll see these primary basins and these secondary basins and these shallower bays. You know, a lot of times where you're going to find that warmer water is in a bay, tucked back into a bay where you don't get that wild fluctuation when that wind shifts or changes. And so don't be afraid to go back in the bays, even if they're even, you know, 6, 7, 8 feet of water. Get back up in those bays that are protected, and that's where you're going to find that warmer water. And tell you what, this time of year, with all the stuff that we have on our boats, probably one of the most important things you can have on a boat is a temperature gauge. That's going to tell you a lot. There's no magic temperature, but you're just trying to find relatively warmer water. In the sense that, say you go across the main basin, for argument's sake, it's 54 degrees. You go back up in a bay, it's 57 degrees. You go on one particular shoreline where the wind's blowing that warmer water, stacking along a shoreline, and you find 59 degrees. You better pay attention and fish that, because usually that's where you're going to find the fish. Good one, Marcus. That was just a tick.
Looks like a nice fish again.
It does, it does. It feels like a really nice fish. Boy, such a beautiful day out here too. Oh yeah, nice walleye. There we go, nice, all right.
Hand it up to you?
Yeah, yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, these are just gorgeous. Oh, I love these kind of bites. Is there anything more fun than catching a walleye like this? Look at that, that fish just swallowed that plastic. Wow. What a way to break in springtime, huh?
It's awesome. Nice job.
All right, I'll get her in the water. There we go, thank you. Oh, I just love this. And every spring is great, but tell you what, we've had so much wind and cold weather, and we've had tough bites, and just it's just nice to finally come out here and just feel that sun, see these water temps warming up, and just catch some fish. Been waiting for this. You know, early in the year, you know, if there's a couple of features that I use a lot, you know, besides the temperature gauge, it's the GPS, obviously with the mapping, especially if I'm fishing, say, like a reef, like an offshore reef complex, or just a big point that comes off the shoreline where there's ins and outs, and there's particular patches where there might be rock, for example. You know, boat control and positioning the boat's going to be important, so I'm, you know, keying in on the map, and then I'm also keying in on side imaging a lot. But definitely something you can do that can help your fishing, in my opinion, is just adjust the panel so that way you make whatever you need bigger. That way it's easier to see. And so when you come into the menu feature here, for example, right now in default, you know, you have a split screen, you've got your GPS on one side, you've got your sonar on the other. Don't be afraid to adjust your panels so that way you can make whatever you plan on focusing on bigger. So for example, if you have, say, side imaging and 2D sonar on your unit, make the side imaging bigger. If you have your GPS map and your 2D sonar, your down view, whatever it is, expand those panels that you plan on using the most, that are the most beneficial. And so one thing I like to do is I like to expand the GPS portion, then just have your 2D sonar, just because you're just referencing depth. A lot of times in shallow water, especially when I'm casting in, I'm not necessarily using my 2D to mark fish. I just want to know how deep the boat is so I can cast in at the fish. But what I'm mostly focusing on is the GPS. You know, I want to make sure that my boat control is precise, because that's really important in shallow water. And what I like to do is just have a standalone screen just for my side imaging, so I feel like the bigger I can make that side imaging, the easier it is to see versus splitting the screen. But definitely use that feature, adjust those panel sizes, so that way whatever feature on that unit that you need that day to capitalize on your fishing, you can expand it, make it easier to read. You know, in this time of year too, this is the sweet spot. You know, that water's been warming up all day. You know, a lot of days right after ice out, I mean, if you catch fish before noon, that's kind of a bonus. You know, afternoon, early evening is a lot of times where it's at. Water warms up a few degrees and these fish start to cooperate. There he is, just like that. Fish is coming over to the other side. I'm gonna go back here. Oh yeah, another nice walleye. There we go. There we go. Thank you.
Nice job.
Haha. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
So this time of year, a lot of times we'll use our electronics to find the fish, but yet these fish, depending if they spawned or haven't spawned, you got to slow down. So we'll go through a process of an elimination. We'll have jigs and plastics, or a hair jig, or a crankbait. And with two guys in the boat, it makes it a lot easier. One guy can cast that crankbait, the other guy can cast a jig and a plastic. And then once we find a pot of fish or an area of fish, we can slow down and just use that jig. Or if they're catching them on both, we can go with the crankbait too.
We just got a nice wind right now too, just blowing this warm water up along the shore.
Fish.
Got it?
Yep.
All right. All right. Boy, some of these fish are shallow, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's like you get 2 pops and a couple cranks and wham.
Yeah, some of these fish are only in a few feet of water.
Yep. They're up there enjoying the sun just like we are.
Yeah. Every walleye that you catch on a jig's a good one, right? Oh no. Look at that. All right. Yeah, I've been out of practice.
Well, you're better at drilling holes right now than you are netting fish, so.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Man, that
Boy,
fish,
they're just eating them. Isn't that something?
fish
I mean, they're just swallowing that.
thumped it. There you go. I can't think of anything that looks better than a walleye under sunset right now.
Yeah. Yep. And when did the ice go out? Literally.
What, 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
You know, this is kind of a finessey situation. You know, 6-pound test, 6-pound mono, 3 16th-ounce jig, plastic. You know, we're just throwing it up into a couple feet of water and just gliding it across. There's a lot of weeds and debris in here that we're sliding these jigs through. But in this type of stuff too, I really like this high vis mono. Don't worry about the fish seeing it. This water's got enough color, enough stain where these fish don't care what color the line is. But when you're catching fish, I mean, you're going to have fish that you catch that you'll just see that line just jump that you probably wouldn't have caught if you were just using clear mono. You know, you just see so many more bites.
There we go.
Got him.
Yep.
All right. This is getting stupid, huh?
And they're almost so far away, it's hard to set the hook.
That one, was that in 6 inches of water?
I think it was.
See the dorsal fin come out of the water on the hook set. Oh, great stuff. Oh wow, yeah. Look at these, just chunks. There we go. All right. What a night, huh? Fun
Thank
stuff.
you.
They just got that pose too, don't they?
They are angry.
Fins up.
They are enjoying this weather as much as we are.
You know what's so cool about this? This is anticipation. You know, I called you, hey, is there anything happening? I don't know, the ice is just going off the lake, so let's find out, you know. So, all right, so we loaded up the boat and came down where we got some open water. We still have ice all over Devil's Lake at home. People are starting to catch fish from shore, but yeah, finally, spring has started.
Well, this has been awesome. Yeah, I told you earlier today, like the anticipation's been building since last November.
Oh yeah,
and
it's finally great to spend a day in the Bulley. We've known each other for probably 20 years.
Yeah.
I think we've done some ice fishing together.
Yep.
Years ago, used to come up to Devil's Lake and stuff, but yeah, what a fun night.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you coming down. This is awesome.